welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be setting up my bullet journal for the month of October, and I'm so excited about it. I was having a lot of trouble picking a theme for this month. It took me multiple tries. I even filmed an entire setup before deciding that I just really didn't like it, so it's taken a little while to get here, but I'm really excited to share this setup with you guys. I ended up going for kind of like a gothic theme. That was my original idea. I really wanted to do something very kind of festive for October, very reminiscent of autumn time, of spooky season, but I couldn't picture exactly what I wanted to do. I also knew that I didn't really want to do anything with like an orange color palette. I don't know, I was just having a lot of trouble deciding until recently. One of the books that I read is Wisteria by Adeline Grace, which is the third book in the Belladonna series, and I ended up loving it so much. And I also recently got these beautiful UK editions of the series, and I'm just so inspired by the artwork on these covers. They are so beautiful. I love how they look. So after a lot of back and forth, I have decided to do a theme inspired by these beautiful covers. Okay, I'm starting out with my cover page. The other inspiration I had besides these covers was this really cool picture I saw on Pinterest. I think I'm just really into any sort of window concept because I did do a window theme, I think in March, and I had a lot of fun with that as well. And I also love adding like a starry window to a lot of my reading spreads, and I just feel like you can never go wrong with it. It's a theme I think I can do so many different times and just have so many different like renditions of. I ended up seeing this picture on Pinterest. I can't really find it again, so I don't know who the original artist was, but it was basically just this really beautiful sketch of a kind of gothic looking window with a starry view on the outside. When I was trying to think about what gothic really means and what drawings I could do to kind of represent that, I feel like windows are such a big piece to that, just in like more historic gothic architecture, stained glass, so I think it ended up being perfect. I didn't want to do a stained glass look exactly though, just because I feel like that's a really hard look to capture, and I've seen other people do really cool versions of it, so I would love to try that at some point. I ended up just doing a normal window with kind of like a night sky view through it. So each book in the series is named after a certain poisonous plant, the first one being belladonna, the second one foxglove, and the third one wisteria. And I really wanted to kind of focus more on the wisteria because I think they are just beautiful flowers. I love the purple. I thought purple would be really fun to do for October because it's kind of spooky, kind of witchy. And so I basically just copied some of the plant artwork that was on the covers. I think the bottom ones, like the bottom red leaves that I'm drawing right now, are like belladonna plants. I'm not entirely sure. And then on the top I just went in with purple and drew out some wisteria. So kind of an eclectic theme in the end, but I am really happy with how it turned out. I think for me, one of the things I struggle with the most when coming up with a journal theme is the color palette. I feel like it can really make or break a setup, so I basically just copied the color palette from the actual book covers. I thought it'd be fun to do like a very pink and purple theme because those are two of my favorite colors. And I think it turned out really cool, a very good kind of gothic look to it, a little bit of that Halloween element. I mainly used my Crayola supertips, and I think I also pulled out some of my tombow brush pens, some of my Ohuhu markers. I don't know, I just experimented with it. I had a lot of fun with the colors this month. I also used a fine liner to actually draw out the window, but for the plants themselves, I just kind of added no black outline. I went in with just the plain markers because I thought that would give it a little bit of a softer look. Overall, this did end up being a very drawing-intensive theme. I think the past couple months I've added a little bit more kind of scrapbook elements. This one was more drawing-heavy, but it wasn't too complicated, honestly. It didn't take me too long. I don't think that any element of this was too complicated to draw. It's all just about finding the natural shapes in the plants, and then the window itself was pretty easy since I have a nice grid-spaced notebook. Overall, I'm really happy with how this theme ended up coming together, this cover page specifically. I do really love how it turned out. There was a lot of coloring involved, which I love. I think I could just sit and color for hours, honestly. I will make sure to link down below all of the exact colors that I'm using if you guys are interested in that. all of the exact supplies that I used. But that is pretty much it for how I did the cover page. I'm honestly so excited for just the rest of the year in general, but when it comes to journaling, when it comes to reading, I'm so excited for the last 3 months of the year. It is really crazy to think that we are now in the last quarter of the year. I feel like this year has gone by so quickly. That being said, the last quarter of the year, October, November, December, is definitely my favorite time of the year. I love the holidays, I love the fall and the winter, so I'm just feeling very inspired overall. I've also just been having so much fun with reading recently. I think Gothic books in general is a new favorite genre of mine, so I've been having a lot of fun with that and definitely did inspire my October theme. I don't know, I think next year I will be having a lot of fun doing some experimenting with my journaling. I feel like for the most part I usually just use pen and paper and markers and I just draw everything out, but this year I've done a little bit more scrapbooking. I've added some washi tape, some paper, and then in March when I did my original window theme, I did have a little bit of a cutout element as well, and that was really fun. I feel like I'm at the point in my bullet journaling journey, I guess, where I really have everything figured out in terms of like what works for me. I've tried out a lot of different spreads at this point. But that being said, I definitely want to do more experimenting next year. In 2024, I really wanted to make all of my bullet journal themes very magical. That was kind of like the umbrella theme for the year, and I definitely want to continue that in 2025 because magical themes are just so much fun. When I think about all the themes that I've done so far this year, I'm not really sure which one is my favorite. I really loved January. That was my kind of like winter fairy Emily Wilde theme. I think May was probably one of my top favorites. I did like a fairy tale book theme, I guess. And then also September, my mushroom theme last month, I had so much fun with, and as I've been using it this month, I've just been so inspired by it. I'm finishing off my cover page with some star and glitter doodles just to kind of fill in some of the empty space. But that is pretty much it for my cover page. I really love how it all turned out and came together. Moving on to the next spread, we have my monthly dashboard page slash habit tracker, I guess. I started doing this page, I think in August maybe, when I kind of just realized that I didn't really need a monthly anymore and I didn't really need a separate habit tracker. And so I decided to kind of merge the two. So on this page I have a couple different habits that I'm tracking, and then I just have a space for me to basically keep track of like key events that I have going on during the month. My bullet journal now is less planning oriented than it used to be, but I still like to have some of the more main things going on, more so I can remember them in the future. And then I think habit tracking will be something that I stick to for so long because I think I will forever have habits that I'm working on adapting and integrating into my life. Right now I like having a fewer number though, because I used to have like 9 or 10 habits a month, but now just having 3 or 4 I feel like really gives me certain habits to stick to, and I think I've been overall more successful with them. I did have a lot of empty space on the spread, so I used that to add more, I think, belladonna doodles, a little moon, and then at the top I also kind of continue on the wisteria doodles from the cover page. Now that I think about it, I think I did actually kind of do a little bit of a wisteria theme last September. It was one of those months that I just kind of really waited and procrastinated till the last minute. I was so uninspired, but I did do a cover page last September, and I think I did like a flower fairy wisteria theme, and I completely forgot about it until now. Overall, wisteria I think is such a majestic looking flower. I think I understand why it's like symbolized in so many different things, and I had a lot of fun drawing it. It was a little bit tricky for me, just kind of getting the hang of those very natural petal shapes. Overall though, I do really love how the illustrations turned out. I do think they look very magical. As far as the lettering went this month, I guess at this point I've done this lettering style many times before. It's kind of like a Scrabble tile theme where I basically just used a brown marker to draw out some little squares, and then I went over that with gold to add some details, and then the actual lettering I just used my fine liner. I'm finishing off the spread with adding more glitter doodles, and that is it for my monthly dashboard page. Okay, the next two spreads, I am changing things up a little bit from last month. First of all, I did decide to change kind of the format of my sleep tracker. I think I just prefer to have it vertically. It's a little bit hard to fit 31 slots onto one page, and so kind of splitting it up like this, I think just makes it work a little bit more with my brain. One change from, I think all year I've included this spread is my content planner page. I decided to stop using it just because I did switch to planning out content on my Notion, and I just find that works a little bit better for me, just because I think that with something like Notion it's a lot more flexible and I can move things around whenever I want, whereas on paper I was kind of stuck with it and I didn't have a lot of room to really brainstorm and plan things out. So I decided to cull my content planner page for now, though I still do use it all the time on my Notion. I'm still keeping up with my sleep tracker because that's another one of my favorite and I think most valued spreads. But a new spread that I decided to add and try out this month is a monthly highlights page. I think I've done some version of this before, I'm sure, but like I said many times at this point, I'm kind of moving my bullet journal to more of like a memory keeping style, and so I really wanted to have a place where I could keep track of just some of the highlights throughout the month. I think that I want this spread to be filled out with pictures. I'm not really sure yet, I'll have to see what works best for me. I think it'll be fun at the end of the month to go through my camera roll and pick out some of my favorite pictures, cut them out, and make maybe like a little collage on this page. I think that will be a fun way to kind of reflect on the month. But I decided to kind of merge the two pages. I really love the look of the wisteria kind of draping across both spreads. I went ahead and added my numbers onto my sleep tracker, and then as far as the highlights page goes, that's obviously something that's going to be pretty empty until the end of the month, but maybe I'll do a little flip through or something when I plan out for November to show you guys how it's filling out. For now, I am just adding a header, and then I did have a little bit of space on the bottom, so I decided to draw out another window because I realized that besides the cover page, I hadn't included it again in this setup. I just drew out another window, I think the exact same like shapes and style. This one I kind of freehanded a bit, and I think you can tell, but I still do like how it turns out. This theme ended up being very random, pulling together like a lot of very different concepts, but overall I think that it does work, maybe just because of the color palette. I don't really know what my theme will be for November yet. It is something that I do typically like to plan out in advance, but I do know what my December theme will be, and I'm really excited about that. Overall, I'm just super excited for the month of October. I think, you know, with Halloween and the spooky season, October hopefully will be a super fun month. I definitely have a lot of autumn-related plans for October that I'm really excited about. I'm going on a little trip the first week of October, which hopefully I'll get to see maybe some fall foliage and do some cozy activities. And other than that, I don't think I have any plans. I know I want to do a couple fall-themed hangout with some friends. One of my friends and I are currently buddy reading It by Stephen King, and we're trying to finish it by Halloween. Hopefully we can. But yeah, other than that, I'm hoping that October will just be a very cozy month. I want to do a ton of reading, a ton of cozy activities, so I'll make sure to take you guys along. My next video, or maybe the video after that, I'm not entirely sure, will be for my October reset. In that video, I'll share with you guys my reading journal setup for October, my TBR, and then also my Notion as well, so you can kind of see how I've taken some of the planning elements from my journal and moved them onto Notion. I will talk through that and give you a little bit of a tour. And then I think the last video that I have planned for September will be a really fun, cozy book shopping vlog that I'm so excited about because so many fun new releases have been coming out recently, so I'm excited to film that. I think I'll be filming that tomorrow. Anyway, I'm finishing up this spread with, again, more glitter and star doodles. I feel like it really just kind of ties everything together. And that's pretty much it for my sleep tracker and monthly highlights page. So that is it for my October bullet journal setup 2024. I hope you all enjoyed. Again, kind of random, but I do really like how the finished result looks. Very inspired by these books. Let me know down below what your theme is, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!